production.
Welcome back to Filmmakers Focus. I'm your host, Doc Kennedy. Today's focus is work ethic and attitude in filmmaking and production. But before we get into that, I just want to take a quick minute to thank you for all the support you've given this show. It doesn't happen without you, and I really mean that. Thank you to all of you who have taken a minute to leave a review, whether it's in iTunes, Stitcher, or at filmmakersfocus.com. They mean a lot in the podcast world, and they mean even more to me personally. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, we're talking work ethic and attitude in filmmaking and production. I had the honor of speaking with Fernando Garcia. Fernando started out in photo and is now working on the TV end of things for HSN. We talk about work ethic and attitude and how it affects us in all we do in creating motion picture. I wanted to have Fernando on to talk about this because it's one of those subjects that we tend to neglect, but it's important to learn and teach these things before we wish we had. This, of course, is just my opinion on the subject, but I'd love to hear your take on it. Email, Facebook, tweet. I love hearing back from you guys, and I want to hear what your take is on attitude and work ethic in filmmaking and production. So without further delay, here's my conversation with Fernando Garcia.
Cut.
Welcome to the show, Fernando.
Thanks for having me, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing great. This is about 7:30 a.m. my time, and you're up and at 'em.
11 a.m. over here.
Awesome.
Beautiful city, Florida.
Love it. So, got to ask you the first question that we ask every guest. What's your favorite movie and why?
So, favorite movie. I think about that, and I can get to be pretty technical. So in my head, it's like, well, favorite movie technically, favorite movie that makes me feel good, favorite movie that 6 billion other questions. But if I had to answer it, I'd have to say favorite movie that makes me feel, and for that, I grew up playing hockey, and I love Miracle. I can watch that movie over and over again, and I can relate to it. So if I had to say, it's Miracle.
Nice. You're probably going to look down on me for this, but I've actually never seen Miracle.
Oh, man. It's such a good story. You need to see it. You need to see it.
I do. Well, why don't you share with us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this industry?
So I got into this industry through still photography. I got interested with stills, and I started working for the company that did my school yearbook photos, and I went from there to working for JCPenney Portrait Studio, and from there I got some contacts, and then I started assisting some photographers. I started working also at HSN, Home Shopping Network in St. Pete, and I recently just made the jump from photo assistant at the imaging studio to a grip on the TV side, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while because that side just captivates me way more. I love the teamwork that's involved with it, and the gear is also cool. That excites me. In photo, they don't care about like grip gear or lighting gear as much. Well, no, lighting gear they care about, but grip gear is really what gets me going. And they don't really know anything. They're like, yeah, that stand. You mean the C stand? Yeah, that thing that holds the light. Okay. So I was like, all right, not the place for me. And here I am, working as a grip at HSN and trying to make my way in the world freelancing.
That's awesome. So, reason that I wanted to have you on, Fernando, is to talk about work ethic. I know that your work ethic is superb. First off, what does that mean to you?
Work ethic, I mean, it's one of the few things that we have, like our word. It's always going to be better if you're working with somebody that maybe they don't know much, but that person is just like right there at your side, ready, willing to listen, follow directions, and do whatever task he or she is given and get it done correctly. I mean, to find those kind of things in somebody, that's phenomenal, because you can't really teach that in the day. That's something that is built upon from previous experiences and other people telling you that, hey, this is important, which is honestly how it happened for me. I started working as a photo assistant with a couple guys, and I see the pace that they're working at, and I see what they're doing, and I immediately want to match that or be better. And it's because of that I've gotten to be the way that I've gotten, and I kind of find myself bored at sometimes because there's just nothing else to do, and I feel so useless.
Yeah.
And other people are like, whatever, it's the thing, and I'm like, no, I want to do something. So it's good and bad, but I feel it's better. It's a good thing more so than a bad thing. And yeah, man, it's a big part of it, especially when you're working on a film set, where there are so many positions and you're depending on a lot of people to do their job correctly
Hmm.
because you don't want to pick up the slack for anybody. So
Yeah. What
it's
What do you feel like the benefits are for someone having a solid work ethic when they get on set? They're ready to go.
they're ready. Oh, they're prepared. I believe work ethic also has to do with preparedness. And when I talk about preparedness, I talk about I'm speaking to the fact that this person has a background knowledge in whatever they're going to be doing. So you're going to be able to say names of things to them. They're going to understand that. Also, I believe preparedness speaks to does this person have the tools necessary to get the job done? I go on sets sometimes. I was on still sets, and when I was a photo assistant, I had my light meter on me, and I had at least a light meter and a knife, if not a whole bunch of other stuff.
Mhm.
And it kind of upsets me when I see other photo assistants that they don't have anything on their belt. So what are you doing? Come on, get it together. So I believe that that's also a big part of it. You're ready to work in your work ethic, but part of your work ethic is being able to just go and do, and being able to just go and do is being ready.
Well, have you seen having a good work ethic improve your career and help you grow, maybe to different levels in your work?
Yeah, I mean, it was because of the way that I worked that I was able to move from the imaging studio to the television side. I was real nervous for this interview, right? I had heard the producer, the person who was going to be interviewing me, he was telling me before, he's like, I'll probably take you around the cage and I'll ask you what this is and what that is. And I tend to make a big deal out of things, so I'm like, oh my God, I need to study, study, study. I got a book. If you're ever interested in lighting for film, it's called the Set Lighting Technician's Handbook by Harry C. Box.
Okay.
It's a phenomenal resource. So I got that book, and I mean, I've had that book, but I opened it up again and I started reading and, trying to think of like, okay, what are the things that I immediately need to know? So I studied, I went to the cage, and I like picked up the thing and I said, this is this. And I turned in and I said, okay, I know how this works. And I prepared and this and that. And come the day of the interview, I'm waiting in a conference room for the gentleman to arrive, and he arrives and he's like, okay, let's go take a walk. And I go, okay. And we start walking, and he's like, you have the job. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I made calls. Everybody had nothing but good things to say about you. And now the ball's in your court. You just got to make sure that you keep on doing what you're doing. You work hard, and you'll get on the good stuff, and you'll learn a lot more from the bigger people in the company.
Yeah.
And that was just like, whoa, I couldn't believe that. And it was because of my work ethic that people spoke highly of me. I mean, I ran. Somebody told me to get something, and I see that we're on set working. Like you don't want to make anybody wait.
Yeah.
That's how it is. I'm sure you know.
Sure.
And you run to go get the thing, and you make it happen. And people see that, and they see the hard work that I put in. They see the hours that I put in, and that reverberates.
I'll be honest with people. If they ask me to be a reference for them, I'll just tell them exactly what I would say to their potential employer if they did call me. If they have been sluggish to work with, or just sort of lack that drive, I'm going to be honest with their future employer, about that. On the flip side, I'm going to be honest if they have a solid work ethic, and I'd love to work with them.
Yeah, man. And honestly, that's the best thing that you can do.
Yeah.
I would take it a step further and say, if this person had asked me or told me that their future employer was going to call them, and I'd be like, listen, yeah, if this person calls me, this is what I'm going to say. Like I would always want to give people the knowledge and the information because I've had people do that for me, and that's helped me out a tremendous lot. And like the other day, I was telling somebody that I was first working with, I'm like, listen, man, if you have a problem with me, you can screw with me. You can tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. I just want to learn how to do it the right way and not dilly daddle. And that's the best way to learn, I think.
Well, I think we've probably both had experiences where we're working with people that are kind of wet noodles, hard to motivate. Do you have any advice for trying to motivate people to do their job better, to want to be there?
I have no advice because it all has to come from them.
Yeah.
It all has to come from them. You have to know that this is what you want to do and go for it. And if you're not going for it, then you don't want it bad enough.
Yeah.
So the question is, how badly do you want it? And you take it from there. There's no secret recipe. There's no this, that, or the other. It comes from within, and you just have to ask yourself the question.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I run into is people that want to get to the top without doing the grunt work.
Oh my God, I can't stand those people. like all these kids coming out that they all want to be directors.
Yeah.
None of them want to be grips, electrics, or like art department PAs
Yeah.
or PAs at that. Because they come out of school and they just worked on a school project and they were the director. That doesn't mean a damn thing. Like you worked with your peers, but your peers aren't the one making money and hiring you yet. They still have a long way to go, just like you do. And people got to come out of school knowing that you're going to go back to the bottom and you're going to have to work your way up. And you're going to have to prove yourself to a lot of different people. But the good thing is, like, once you do, people can tell really quickly. Honestly, really, like within a day or two of working with you, this guy's worth his weight or he isn't.
Yeah.
It's pretty easily seen. If you do your job well, you do it in a good pace, you're nice to work with, you're fun to work with, then they're going to say, hey, I want that guy back on my set.
Yeah.
And, people in this industry talk, I'm sure you know that. Oh, have you worked with this guy? You work with that guy? Yeah, he's cool. He's cool. Yeah, I'd work with him again. Think conversations like that, you want to make sure that people are talking about you in a positive light.
Yeah.
One bad review from somebody is going to alter somebody else's mind about you. Even though you might have performed fantastically in our job with them and they hear a bad review about you from somebody else that, they think to themselves like, huh, I wonder why this person is saying these things about this person, when they worked with me, they were great. Like, what's the deal? You want to strive for somebody that has consistency. You just want to make sure that people have nothing but good things to say about you.
Yeah. All it takes nowadays is one Google search to either make or break a career. And if there's bad stuff out there, you're toast.
Yep, exactly. You can't afford to have anything bad out there about yourself. And then, there's also instances where people they're just out to get you.
Yeah.
Maybe because you are the better worker and they want your work, so they'll slander, or like just because who knows? I mean, people in this industry sometimes can get on a power trip because they have the power and because they feel the way that they do. They're like, yeah, that kid, whatever.
Yeah.
When that's not the truth. It's difficult, but that's why you just have to strive to make sure that people have the least amount. If there's more people saying good things about you and there's that one-off person that doesn't like you, people are going to be like, well, what am I going to believe?
Sure.
The 15 people who give you good reviews or that one person that says no. If you have anything up here in your head, then you're going to say, well, obviously something's wrong with that review.
So along with work ethic comes attitude. Just having a positive attitude when you're working on set. I know there's long days, there's a lot of downtime, just maintaining that positivity can totally change the vibes of everybody on set
Yes.
and give all of them that desire to be that much better. It's helping lift them up as it's lifting yourself up.
Yes. Yes. There have been days where it's long and I'm like, oh, good Lord. This is nuts.
Yeah.
And you just got to remember, one, shut up. No one cares.
Yep.
To be honest with you, and to be frank, no one cares. Just be quiet, do your work, put a face on. A good mentor of mine would always tell me, if anybody asks you how you're doing, you tell them that you're doing fantastic.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. You're always doing fantastic. Always.
Even if your face doesn't show it.
Even if your face doesn't show, but you do your best to put a smile on. Or you know what? If you can, then go organize something away from people. Keep on doing some kind of a work, but don't let yourself be seen as much.
Yeah.
And I mean, the other side of that is that we're all humans. It's understandable if something happens to you. If I just got a phone call at work, working on a set, that I found out something happened to my mother, how do you expect me to not be in a bad mood?
Yeah.
But so something like that is acceptable. But don't be in a bad mood because I don't have any water, or I haven't been able to do this. Suck it up, buttercup.
Yep. Well, I think we all understand too, that things do happen. People have issues outside of work, and the old cliche, don't bring it to work, leave it home.
Right, exactly.
But it's natural for us to feel those things. It's really hard to just park it and leave it. But on the flip side, you have to be courteous to your coworkers, those people that you're working with, and just allow them to enjoy their time without taking them down.
Precisely. Because a bad mood can get real contagious.
Yeah.
And because of that, it gives people an incentive to be happy. And I think that's where a lot of especially, I don't know about, well, I'm sure it's in all the other departments, but this camaraderie you build with your coworkers, so Grip and Electrics are always messing around with each other. People have a lot of laughs about that, and you have fun, and then you get back to work. It's things like that help them pass the time, keep a smile on their face, and enjoy the work that they're doing. If it was serious all the time, none of us would be doing this. I mean, this is crazy work.
Yeah.
Long hours, hard work. Well, I mean, we're all crazy for even doing it. So to have that opportunity to have a little fun and, mess around with some of your coworkers is something that we all look forward to and helps.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you need to foster that.
Absolutely. And that's in any line of work.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great, Fernando. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and just share your wisdom. Do you have any parting advice for our audience?
Parting advice for the audience. Make sure this is what you want to do. And if you know and you made the decision that this is what you want to do, don't let anybody change it and go for it.
Yeah, I like ending on that high note. We sort of harp on the work ethic and the attitude, but if you want this, and chances are you do because you wouldn't be here if you don't, then come to work with that zest that you had as a kid for making movies, for making motion picture.
You're here.
So, Fernando, how can people get in touch with you?
Lots of different methods. I'm on Instagram, Ferdy_J, FERDIE_J. It's my Instagram account. Email, if they want to email me, fernando@fernandojphoto.com. You can also find some of my stills work at fernandojphoto.com.
Well, this has been great, bro. Appreciate it.
Oh, man, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you. And great work with the podcast.
And cut. That's a wrap.